Day number 3 of the week where we still have prizes to get out the door, and we have more baseball names to dive into from the 1880s and 2023.
I think we're teaching our listeners, though.
I've learned so much.
And you.
I've learned so much.
You did do a deep dive into this. I learn about these people's careers every day.
Pretzels Getson was the name of names last night or yesterday.
We started going through all these guys and stuff because I think it was Kurt said Zach Wheeler. How many pitches do they say Zach Wheeler has?
6.
And I call BS on that.
Yeah.
No, listen, the only guy I ever saw that had like 4 amazing pitches was Pedro Martinez. So, and yes, you can throw your fastball different speeds and stuff like that, but it's not another pitch. You're just adding and subtracting, right? So let's call 4-seam, 2-seam, change-up, curveball.
Old Pretzels, he threw the double curve. And I found out today, a lot of these baseball players that we're talking about, so we did 1886, we did 1885 yesterday, we're going to do 1884 today. This is what was known as the bare hand era.
Well, because they didn't throw hard enough to hurt your hand. The catchers used like what you would consider like a work glove.
Well, it was the dentist guy that we found out on Monday.
So, but literally, so like you were, let's say you're a railroad worker, or you're somebody like that. So you had the glove of the day was like a padded glove.
Whatever you had at work.
That's whatever you had at work. That's what you played baseball with. It was the early 1900s when they started making pillow gloves. They didn't even really have fingers. It was just basically shaped kind of like a glove, but it was stuffed with pillow stuff in it. And then you used to share it. So in like the 1860s to the 1920s, you left the glove at the position or in the foul territory area for the other team's player. So you shared everything back then.
That's some old school stuff. Old school versus new school. Bringing the game back for day number 3 on the week, and we have more prizes to get out the door. Barbecue Fest continues. Is this Saturday at Mohegan Sun. Get all that barbecue flavor all over yourself down there in Uncasville. And it's one hell of a time. You're going to learn a lot there just as much as you learn on old school versus new school. I learn something every year at the Barbecue Fest that I bring to my kitchen. And I stuff my face full of the meat to get the meat sweats. And it's one heck of a time. Lots to drink, lots to indulge in as far as music goes as well. Barbecue Fest this weekend at Mohegan Sun. If you don't want to go to that and you're in town on Hartford on Saturday and want to see the Hartford Athletic beat down the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, we have a family 4-pack for you there as well. So you got the choice. We have one family 4-pack, fellas, left, and we have 2 Barbecue Fest passes left. Well, 2 pairs of Barbecue Fest passes left. Old school versus new school. Dibs is going to give you a name. You tell us, is this an 1884 Major League Baseball player from the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds? Or is it a 2023 Major League Baseball draft?
That was close.
Basher. Used to bash the ball.
Bashers. Yes.
The Bashers.
So is it 1884 or 2023? Old school versus new school. You get it right. You get your choice of tickets. 860-522-3776. The boys are working the phones back in the booth. This has been a fun experiment on just learning some names and learning. I always like the new school guys with old school names. That's near and dear to my heart. Oh, Dibs is already finding out some information that's making him sad. That's usually how it happens in the death of these guys in the 1880s. Like, he finished his first complete game, and then he walked out of the ballpark and was hit by a train.
Hit by a trolley. Crushed him.
Man. But he had that game, though. It was a hell of a game. 860-522-3776. 522-3776 if you want to play. Kurt, who's first?
Fred.
Oh, Fred, what is up, Fred? How you been, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Doing well. I know
Are you staying out of the water down in Florida, man? Those sharks are going crazy.
Yeah, which coast are you on, Fred?
Well, I'm on the East Coast. That stuff happened in the Panhandle.
Yep. Try to tell the boys.
We're getting a lot of rain, so I wouldn't be surprised if a tiny shark found its way because there's a lot of flooding here. But
Awesome. Catch it, put it in a tank, you get a new pet there. Fred and the Shark.
yeah, there you go.
There you
It's
go.
like a TV show.
All right,
Good idea.
you know the name of the game here, Fred. Old school versus new school. Dibs is going to give you a name. You don't know. Flip a coin. If it's old school or if it's from the 1880s, tell us old school. If you think it's from 2023, tell us new school. Are you ready, Fred?
Yes, I am.
Fatty Briotti. Fatty Briotti. Old school or new school, Fred?
Fatty Briotti. Let's go new school.
Oh, Fred.
Kind of gave it away, man. I was looking up his life.
What happened to Fatty Briotti?
Tragic, dude. He dies at 44.
Oh, man, Fatty.
Fatty was a catcher.
Of course.
Real name was Charles Briotti, Charles F. And that was not for Fatty, but it was Charles F. Briotti.
Okay.
Played on a bunch of different teams: Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Dude hit like Kevin Biggio, 3 home runs, 228 career batting.
So let's do this match game style. Fatty Briotti was so fat.
How fat was he?
He was 5'8", 190.
That's not that fat. It was fat for the day.
Exactly. That's fat for
That's
the
fat for the day. And he had bad hair.
He identified as fat.
He did identify as fat. He loved it. He kind of looked like the Gerber baby a little bit. Like if the
Yeah.
Gerber baby grew up, and he kept the haircut.
He bounced around too, though, man. He was a journeyman catcher. He wasn't the starter. So he played like over 3 years with Cleveland, 136 games, Kansas City, 13. I don't even know where is this? I don't even know where this place is.
What?
Some of these TRO. What is that?
It was probably Troy, the Troy Trojans. He's probably was that New York, right? We got a Troy in New York.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first team for
I
Fatty.
think that's the lower tier
1880.
expressway kind of area.
I
Trotneck?
agree.
Troy Trojans. You are correct.
Troy
1880.
The sad thing is Charles F. Fatty Briotti's nickname was Alderman. I thought we were already calling him Fatty.
Well, he looked like a politician, too. Damn fat aldermans.
All right, try back,
Fatty
Fred.
Alderman.
Sorry, Fatty Briotti is an old school name from the 1880s.
Dude, look at his teammates. Check these dudes out.
Oh, everyone
looks like an
sweet
you
ass
talk-
mustache.
But they look like outlaws.
Wyatt Earps.
Oh, they're all Wyatt Earp's brother, man. Wow. That's a lot of grooming going on there. The one thing you could say about the gentlemen back then, they all wore like suits and ties.
Yeah.
And they all had giant mustaches.
And everybody's button all the way up to the top.
oh, yeah.
Bubba Watson, top button Bubba's up there.
Well, even the baseball players in the 1860s, 1880s, a lot of the uniforms buttoned all the way up with a collar,
Yeah.
like a shirt collar, not like today. And some of them even did have ties. And they wore like boots like a regular one with your suit.
I feel like baseball was like, how uncomfortable can we make it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
860
Not going to give you a
522.
lot of playing tools, but you're going to
No.
go out there dressed to the nines.
Right. No mitts.
No
Your bats
mitts.
are from the forest. And wear this suit.
Bats are from the lumber yard. We're just going to give you a piece of wood. It's like walking tall.
860-522-3776. 522-3776. Kurt, who's next?
Pat's probably upset with you by now. You've been
He's learning stuff. What's up, Pat?
It's a talk show, man. We talk.
What's up, guys?
How are you, man?
All right, we've got a name for you, sir. You simply tell us, is it old school from the 1880s or new school? You get it right, you're going to either the Barbecue Fest or your choice of Hartford athletic tickets. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Homer Bush Jr. New school or old school?
Got to be new school, right?
I don't think it has to be, but it is.
His father played for the Blue Jays and the Yankees, Homer Bush, in my era. So, yeah.
Did you know that? Is that
Yeah.
what? Oh,
You've heard
right.
the name.
Great
I knew the
job.
name.
Great job.
I
Definitely
was going to say
a winner.
this. should-
That's
Great
right.
Homer Bush.
What would
That's
you-
one of the greatest baseball names ever.
What would you like? Would you like Hartford athletic tickets or you want to go to Barbecue Fest?
I'll do the barbecue fest.
Excellent.
You're going to love it.
Stay on
We
hold,
love it.
sir.
That's a barbecue.
Hook him up with some barbecue.
Get it all over you.
See, I thought his dad was special too, but I didn't know if our listeners
Would know that?
Yeah, would know Homer Bush. I just feel like Homer, besides Homer Simpson, I don't know many Homers in my life.
True.
It's an old school name. And for it to be Junior, I feel like there was another Homer Bush before the Homer Bush that we know of as his dad. By the way, Homer Bush, Grand Canyon product, went to San Diego in the 2023 draft. Homer Bush Jr. Watch out for him. 860-522-3776. Who's next, Kurt?
Eugene.
All right, Eugene. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, guys?
Doing well. All right, Dibs has got a name. You simply tell us, is it old school from the 1880s or new school from 2023? Are you ready, Eugene?
Ready.
All right, Eugene, Jack Glasscock. Jack Glasscock. Is he old school or new school?
Come on. That's new school.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eugene. Jack Glasscock is a name you need to know.
You need to know this dude. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Lifetime 290 hitter, played 17 years. And by the way, we're talking about the late Jerry West from West Virginia.
Yeah.
This guy's from Wheeling, West Virginia.
And played all over 1884
Everywhere.
Cincinnati Outlaw Red.
He
Did
was
you
a
even know about
gypsy.
this team, by the way?
I did
Cincinnati
not.
Outlaws Red.
Dude, you teach me stuff every day.
I didn't know about it either. Glasscock's WAR, his career WAR, 61.6.
He's a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
I'm kind of upset learning about Jack Glasscock today.
He won a batting title back in the day, lifetime 290 hitter, 27 home runs career for back then was a lot.
Yeah.
Over 2,000 hits in his career.
One of the best in the barehanded era. One of the best.
Listen, they missed the boat on this cat.
I think his name was holding him back.
Yeah. Very,
Sorry.
very offensive even back then.
It's like, God, can we just call you Jack?
I laughed when I first saw this.
Can't look you in the face.
Because this is no lie. When I was hired here,
I was thinking of this.
lady in charge of HR, not trying to be offensive at anything, her name was Crystal Glasscock.
Was she related to Jack?
I don't know. But I was like, when someone told me that, I'm like, you're pulling my leg.
HR.
She's in charge of HR.
HR of all things.
But Crystal was a lovely lady. She moved on from here, but I was like, there's no way.
Shout out.
Shout out to Crystal Glasscock.
Glasscock, yes.
So-
And your grandpa Jack. Hell of a ball player.
When I'm going through Wheeling, West Virginia on my way to Florida, I know that I'm well into my trip. And it's time to like pull over and
Yes.
get to a truck stop and get me some coffee and maybe something to eat.
Well, he died there as well, so I got a feeling that Jack Glasscock's
79,
tombstone,
he moved back home.
his tombstone's got to be there.
I mean,
so-
89. Did I say 79? 89. That's a good run back then. He lived in 1947, so he saw 2 world wars.
Yeah, tough times for Mr. Glasscock.
And again, Jack Glasscock had he was a shortstop, second baseman, great mustache.
Of course he did. 860-522-3776. Who's next, Kurt?
This guy's rich.
Hey, Rich, what's up?
Rich!
What's up, fellas?
How are you,
Doing
buddy?
well, doing well. Beautiful day outside. These clouds are rolling in, though, Dibs. I just looked
True.
outside. All right, Rich, we're going to try to get you into either the Barbecue Fest or the Hartford Athletic game. Dibs has got a name. You simply tell us, is it old school from the 1880s or new school? Are you ready, Rich?
Ready?
Rich, Dick Burns.
Ouch.
Dick Burns.
Dick
Old
Burns.
school or new school?
Old school.
All right,
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Would you like Barbecue Fest or Hartford Athletic?
Barbecue Fest.
Excellent. You're our last one. Stay on hold. Hook up Rich. Wouldn't you know it? Dick Burns batted in front of Jack Glasscock during the
You're
1884
kidding me.
Cincinnati Outlaw Red season.
That's fantastic.
can't make that
And this guy did not have a very long career.
No.
He lasted.
He burnt out.
Yeah, he lasted 3 years. 3 years.
Imagine you turning in that lineup card.
From Holyoke, Mass. Local.
Oh,
Holyoke, Mass. Yep.
Dick Burns.
He's married. Yeah, he's buried in Holyoke, Mass.
No
at
way. Let's field trip time.
Calvary Cemetery. The Outlaw Reds. It's awesome.
The Outlaw Reds, not the Red Stockings.
No, the Outlaw
The
Reds.
Outlaw Reds. This was like the team in Cincinnati nobody wanted, but they got it.
He was also on the Detroit Wolverines. Now you know where Michigan stole their mascot name.
Well, Dick Burns was kind of an anomaly in the lineup because he was left-handed. Not a lot of lefties.
Played in the Union Association.
God, he did bounce around. Not as much as Glasscock, though.
No. But Jack had a 17-year career, man. And he played with Fatty.
Yeah.
So they were all
They're on the same team.
Okay.
Think about that. You got
Fatty,
Dick Burns, and Jack Glasscock all in the same lineup.
Good golly.
It's like you don't even believe that. Like, I got to buy a ticket to see this. No way is this true. It's true. Outlaw Reds. Look them up. 860-522-3776. We got some Hartford Athletics still in the mix. What you got, Dibs? Hold on. What you
Joe
got?
Crotty.
Joe Karate, yeah. Oh, Karate.
He knows karate.
Karate, the Karate Man.
And he goes to the potty.
860-522-3776. Who's next, Kurt?
Fred has returned.
Oh, Fred back for some more punishment. All right. How you doing, Fred? Did you find that shark?
Yeah. I didn't find the shark, but I want to make the record as 2 losers in one contest.
You know what?
Chewy's done it a couple times.
Chewy might have done it 3 times
He
in
won't
one
be the first.
one contest.
All right, here we go. You know the story. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, Fred. Coleman Picard. Coleman Picard. Is he new school or old school?
New school.
You are not a loser, Fred.
Today, Fred.
No.
Not today.
We would not allow it.
Excellent.
Great guess.
Stay on hold, Fred. Hook that man up.
Music.
I
God
love
bless
it.
Chewy.
Yes.
Yes, God bless
Viva
Chewy.
la Chewy.
Hey, Chewy's favorite week coming up next week, Travelers Week.
Hope to see him out there. Hope to see everybody out there. The Rob Dibble Show will be doing it live, as we always do, Monday through Sunday for the Travelers Championship. Fred's a winner today. He's going to the Hartford Athletic game on Saturday. He's probably going to hook up his son and a bunch of his friends as well. Rich, Pat, they're going to the Barbecue Fest. Isaac Tiger was the meat left on the bone from today's old school versus new school. Isaac Tiger.
Community college, huh?
That is a new school name, Butler Community College. He is now a Texas Ranger.
Fantastic. Good for that boy.
And we learned a lot. I think of the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds have not had their due in the history books of Major League Baseball, and they need to. The other fascinating thing I saw, I don't know if you go to Baseball Reference like I do and just check out 1880 stuff.
Nobody does what you do. Nobody goes down the rabbit holes you go down.
So how I was finding a lot of these names, I started there and just put in
Obscure professional team.
No, I would just look at the roster because some are just gonna pop up at you like Fatty Bobatti Briati. So I just went to 1886 and I clicked on some local teams like the Providence, the Boston. Then yesterday was 1885, and both of those seasons had like 12 teams. 1884, 2 years earlier, 33 teams in Major League Baseball. 33 teams. So like 1884, something happened there. And when we went to 1885, it just lopped off like half the league.
Well, because that's where the minor leagues came into it. Because I just punched up 1875. You've got the Boston Red Stockings, the Hartford Dark Blues, Philadelphia Athletics, St. Louis Brown Stockings, the Whites, the Philadelphia Whites, the Chicago
How many are
White
we
Stockings.
talking about
13
here?
teams.
Okay.
So what happened was like the AFL and the NFL, they were like, okay, we're going to take a few teams and we're going to merge them. The ABA, NBA, we're going to take a few teams and then the rest are just going to be dissolved either back into the minor leagues, become like, because back then there was hundreds and thousands of pro teams. And then you got like the major league teams, you had 16. And then what you had 8 in each league, American League, National League. But they each had like 60 farm clubs. And those farm clubs were probably a lot of the teams that you're looking at right now. Once the turn of the century happened, it was like, listen, we can't afford all these guys. And they're certainly not that talented to where a lot of people want to watch all of them.
And that, like, I'm just trying to read up on that.
Because look, you had the New York Mutuals, but you had the New Haven Elm Cities. So you had 2 in the same vicinity in the same league. So they basically merged them and would probably become the New York Highlanders back then.
Now, when you say Highlanders, the Highlander
Turned into the Yankees.
True, but we also had the Highlanders right down the street in Manchester. They had their own professional baseball team in the early 1800s. Like, went to the museum there. There's so much cool stuff about the Highlanders baseball team across
But
the
you
river.
had 2 in the same city. You had the Philadelphia Athletics and the Philadelphia Centennials. So you had to merge something there, or you had too many players.
I found out some more
And
on
the
our.
Centennials were terrible. They were 2-12 that year.
I got some more Dick Burns information for you. Dick Burns, the outfielder / pitcher, was the top hitting regular for the Cincinnati Outlaw Reds. Batted .306 and a slugger with 4 home runs.
You had the Keokuk Westerns back then. The Keokuk Westerns.
On August 26, 1884, Burns threw a no-hitter against the Kansas City Cowboys. It was the first ever no-hitter in Major League Baseball from a Cincinnati club. Now, this includes the Red Stockings, your team, and the Cincinnati Stars. By the way, same owner, all 3 teams.
Okay, so this is also the Keokuk Westerns didn't have a lot of players. They only played 13 games that year, where some of the other teams were playing 140 games. Right? They had a starting lineup: Patty Quinn, Carbine, Miller, Hallinan, Goldsmith, Simmons, Riley Jones. They had 1 pitcher, so they had 10 guys on their team. So they're like, okay, we got 25 on this team, 10 on this team. The Keokuk Westerns are out.
Wow.
That's probably what happened back then.
I also found out that if you were a coach / manager, you also played.
You also played. Joe
Oh,
Simmons
yeah.
was the manager, 1-12, probably owned the team.
Yep.
And they probably fired everybody.
Or everybody just left.
you
They
go.
probably fired. It's like, all right, I'm going another team.
All right. Nathan Groove, Andy Bissett came in the studio earlier. We're going to replay that for you next here on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Thank you so much for keeping us on the air. Enjoy the day and enjoy this next interview.